Hi Capricorn, welcome to your May Master video. Let's get into it. So before we do, I just want to say a massive thank you so much for all of your love, all of your support. It really does mean the absolute world. My return has been well received, and I'm really very grateful to all of you for it. So I got love for my Cappies, and it's really good to be back. So you're going to be getting a lot of what you love. You're going to be getting a lot of what's new as well. The frequency is going to be different though. So bear with me as I start to bring you all of this new stuff and the new way that it's going to work. Ultimately, it's going to be that much more valuable to you in the long run as well. All right. So with that said, stay tuned. And let's get straight into it. So remember, whenever I'm talking about astrology, I am talking about whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. And if I ever forget to give you the dates of a transit, you'll be able to find that stuff in the description box below. So straight out of the gate on May the 1st, Venus comes into the sign of Aries, into your fourth house of your home, your family, your property, your real estate, where you live, how you live there, and who you live with. And Venus is a sweetening energy. So if home has been a little bit more contentious, if it's been a little bit more fractious, if it's been a bit more sort of, this is about to calm all of that down for you a whole lot. Um, and when it comes to the home sector, remember wherever Venus goes, she's bringing that sweetening energy. She's going to make you and everybody that you live with, if you live with anybody, that much more agreeable. So it's a soothing balm that brings energy to the home. You might feel a desire to beautify your home that much more, maybe reconnect with loved ones, maybe soften your inner world or your emotional world in some way. A lot of the time, Venus is about harmony and connection as well. So you may feel more drawn to bringing people into the home. Now, as Venus for you rules your fifth house of Taurus and your 10th house of Libra, this could also bring romance, pleasure, creativity, maybe even your work or your career into your home environment in some way. Or maybe you start enjoying working from home that much more. Maybe you start to create a work home, like a space to work from home, like an office or some sort of something like that. It's also working from home or finding pleasure in what grounds you, right? Especially on like a more emotional level. Now, Venus is not necessarily at her best in Aries, but she's, pretty decent in the fourth house. Now, in the background of all of this, Saturn, your ruling planet, is conjunct the North Node in your third house, which means that your voice and your mindset and also how you share what's personal really starts to have weight. Like your words will have weight here. One of the ways that this can sometimes show up, though, is maybe that you feel like your voice isn't necessarily being heard. Don't take it personally, all right? Like it's going to shift from there soon enough anyway, now, which you'll see as we get into it. On May the 5th, Mercury comes into a conjunction with Chiron in your fourth house, and they are going to sextile or make an opportunity sort of energy unfold in your life to Jupiter, who is in your sixth house, right? So you might experience a moment of insight or healing around around old family stories or patterns in some way, maybe around physical well-being or your inner sense of safety or security. And one of the ways that this could show up is like, let's say there's always been a narrative of like in my family, it was always, we don't have much, but at least we have food. Right, which creates, like certainly in terms of eating and portion control, it creates, you can imagine what that creates, right? So this might be something along those lines of like, well, everyone in my family is big, so I was always destined to be big. You could start breaking something like that down now, and it could actually help you move forward. It could bring something to the surface at this moment in time that's like really helps you see yourself in a different light. Now, obviously for you, Mercury rules your sixth house, which is where Jupiter is at this moment in time, and Mercury also rules your ninth house of Virgo. And so, in a lot of ways, this sixth, ninth house sort of connection, but through your emotions or through your fourth house, is really helping you see how maybe like your personal wisdom and grace, or maybe even brings and it maybe even brings some kind of momentum forward, where you can shift like your daily experience, and maybe with some lasting results or consequences. I don't like the word consequences, but hopefully you get my drift. On May the 11th, Mercury then moves into the sign of Taurus, coming into your fifth house of joy, creativity, pleasure, romance, your children, if you have them. Mercury moving into the fifth brings a much greater focus on creativity and fun and pleasure and joy. In romance, if you're partnered already, this could be that you start having more conversations about how you can enjoy yourself in your relationship that much more. If you are single, then this could bring an influx of wherever Mercury goes, it brings an energy of busy, right? Or busyness. And so this is a great time to explore passion projects. It's a great time to connect. It's a great time to set up the dating profile, right? Um, Meet people, go on dates. This is a really good time if you've got kids to spend time with your children, maybe even just to speak your heart more freely. Now, because Mercury rules, again, those sixth and ninth houses, it's like your work and your routines are now starting to fix towards a higher purpose or maybe even a teaching path in some way. You might find that something that you're working on right now, like, and something that you're working on quietly, brings joy and possibly recognition if it's something that's shared. Now, on the 14th of May, we've got a beautiful grand fire trine. This for you is happening across the 4th, the 8th, and the 12th houses. So we've got a fire trine, and it's a strong fire trine because, the moon's just off of being full. So it is a waning moon, but it's still got quite a lot of light and power. This is a fiery, inner facing alignment that really activates your private life, right? Healing, emotional, and your emotional body. You've got Venus in the fourth house, beautifying and harmonizing and bringing sort of a soothing balm to the emotions, even in Aries. You've got Mars in your eighth house, making you really clear cut and really very strong about what's important to you, where it is that you need to get rid of old baggage, hurts, wounds, crises, challenges. And then the moon in your 12th house, and this is creating a really powerful grand fire trine that stirs up old feelings, maybe old desires, or potentially even the old stories that your lineage, your heritage, your family ties have told you over a lifetime that you have perpetuated. And it sees you being able to really make peace with and therefore break with the past in some way, taking an action like a deeply self-focused or self-stabilizing action in some way. It's like you see yourself in a greater capacity on the internal level and you're able to act on that. It's guiding you really towards a whole sense of like self-liberation in some way. Now, on May the 17th, we've got a grand earth trine. This is happening across your first, fifth, and ninth houses. Moon is in your sign, right? So she's moved forward now. Luna is in your sign. We've got Uranus in the fifth house in Taurus. And then we've got the South Node newly, relatively newly relocated in your ninth house, bringing a stabilizing and affirming energy because it's Earth, but also a revelatory energy and surprising energy because Uranus is involved. A creative or romantic vision might finally start to take root at this time, especially if you began exploring this like quite a long time ago. You might even start getting a lot of like something that's been holding you back, or your personal expression, or maybe even your luck in some way. This is kind of like a day for really, in a lot of ways, to take yourself seriously. Even if what you're doing feels like it's playful, you're building something here that has legacy written all over it. And it may be that you're racing towards a deadline because this is a waning moon, right? So it's not necessarily something that you're starting, but it is something that you're working towards getting sort of off the ground or out into the world. On May the 18th, the Sun comes into a conjunction with Uranus in your fifth house. So this fifth house is getting a really good working over the course of this month, right? As well as your sixth house as well. This is like surprise or bold insight of some sort around creative projects, romantic situations, maybe even children if you've got them, you know. And remember, the sun for you in your chart rules your eighth house of other people's money. And Uranus obviously rules your second house of, you know, your finances. So there's definitely a financial element to this. It's a good day for you to play the lottery, maybe, or to invest, or just know that it probably won't shape up the way that you expect it to because Uranus is involved. It could actually be better. All right. So like it's a gamble for sure, but it's worth taking a gamble. No, I don't want to hear that you put your house, your wife, and your kids and your, you know, the dog on the bloody roulette table. We're not out here doing that. But if it's fun and disruptive, that's your cue that it's the right way to go. All right. Remember, because the sun illuminates things. This may even be like if you've got children, they might suggest something to you that you would usually say, like, don't be so ridiculous, or you say no to. And maybe you just kind of say, actually, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. And they're like, really? Going to try that more often. And for those of you that are watching for your Capricorn parents, it will probably be a no in the future. But this is one of those rare times where you'll get a yes. On May the 21st, the sun enters Gemini. So the sun's coming into your sixth house. This is bringing an awareness and an attention and an illumination to your physical health and vitality, how you serve the world, how you show up on that daily level. It's a really great time for editing your schedule, improving your systems, making smarter use of your personal energy in some regard as well. And since the sun rules that eighth house, this could bring up themes of energetic exchange. What are you giving away versus what you're receiving in return? And maybe there are considerations here around efficiency and empowerment, right? And because it's the sixth house and it's the sun combined, this could also be about how you release or let go of from your physical body some of the old hurts, wounds, challenges, and traumas because you see them in a very different light. It's like, okay, yes, that really sucked at the time, but it's no longer happening. And the more that I feed into that story or that narrative, the more it seems to show up in my physical body, right? This is a time where your thoughts and your words and especially your deeds should really move towards or speak life into your health. All right. On May the 25th, the sun enters Aries. Sorry, the sun. The dead. Saturn enters Aries. Your ruling planet comes into the fourth house. Saturn is your ruler and it enters Aries and it begins a long term restructuring of your home life, your foundations, and your sense of emotional security. Remember, Saturn builds for the long term and it refines over time. So, this could be for some of you, maybe you get a mortgage, maybe you move to a new home, maybe you start the process of renovations on the home that you have. As the ruler of your chart, this is a big shift, right? It's a really big, powerful shift. Now, it could also suggest, you know, on the not so easy side, it could suggest that home becomes a place of a bit more burden, or maybe that you're spending more time, more effort, more energy on your or resources on renovating the home. You might feel more protective of your space at this time, especially around the boundaries of the home, setting that up, right? Solidifying your living situation. Because Saturn is a limiting or a burdening factor, it's asking for long term refinement over family matters that maybe take center stage at the moment, and also the place that you live in, as in the dwelling. Potentially, it's stirring financial or emotional shifts here as well, because Saturn, although Saturn rules your first house, it also rules your second house of money, finances, and resources as well. And because it's in the fourth house, it's like whatever money you do have is going towards the home to improve it, to make it better, to enhance it in some way. But just know Saturn is a 2.5 year transit. So this might be a very long process that you start now, right? And then as we come, and remember, this is going to dip in. It will come back out over the course of this year, and then 2026, Saturn goes into Aries full time, right? And as of next year, we will, I think it's like right at the very beginning of February, we have the official, actual Saturn and Neptune conjunction in the sign of Aries. So that's going to be interesting. Stay tuned for that. On May the 26th, Mercury enters Gemini, comes into the sign that it rules. Mercury rules your sixth house, and it also helps you shift mental gears when it comes to your day-to-day experience, your habits, also what you're here to do and be of service with. This is actually a really great time for work communication, scheduling, writing, building more flow into your work life, work to your day-to-day work life and situations. As the ruler of your sixth and your ninth house, new beliefs about what is possible in a short space of time really emerge here. So it's interesting because obviously that Saturn transit is going to say to you, right, this is going to take time. Whereas this Mercury transit is going to see you start looking at time and what's possible in a short space of time versus a long space of time, and start really asking the questions. How do we time dilate? How can we shift this up a gear? How can we change this or move it along in a faster way? You might find that your energy levels suddenly ramp up, right? Because Capricorn is long haul by nature, but this transit is going to activate your short-term hustle energy. Now, deadlines might loom, but they're going to sharpen you, right? This is going to be where you do some of your best work because you're like, shit, I can really feel the pressure. This needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. On Mercury the 30th, on May the 30th, Mercury goes Kazemi again in that sixth house. This is a moment of genius, a moment of insight, a moment of clarity that hits you, particularly around work or wellness sort of habits. If you've got pets, I wouldn't be surprised. If you've got children, I wouldn't be surprised if they're asking for pets at this time. Um, be interesting to see how that goes down. This could be a powerful download or message of some sort, though, that comes in about what really needs to change in your daily life or on your, like your daily habits or routines. Whether this is a small tweak or like a whole bold new plan for how you're going to start spending your days or building your routines and stuff. This is kind of like a green light in a way. Now, as long as you keep sort of service at the heart of what you do and stay devoted to your own version of winning, this could actually be quite magical. And it will be interesting to see like what the downloads are that come through. Now, let's get into your lunations. I told you this is a master video. You're getting everything, right? You're getting astrology, you're getting your lunations, you're getting your tarot. Oh yes, there is tarot. And yeah, right. So when it comes to your lunations, on May the 12th, we've got a full moon in the sign of Scorpio in your 11th house. This is going to highlight the connections that you have. The 11th house is friendships, goals, future vision. It's the gains that you get from your career. So this is bringing something around all of these things to a culmination, potentially to a close or to a head in some way. You might also feel that there's like a strong emotional pull towards like, okay, what's next? Right? Like, where do I go from here? With Uranus in the mix of all of this, it may be that something comes as a surprise. A friend, a friendship group, a group association, a community connection of some sort may shift. It might end. It might come to a close. It may be revealed to you that maybe there's something in your local area that's so suited to you, but you didn't even know it existed, right? So it doesn't always have to be like a negative ending. It could carry also a financial theme because Uranus is involved in this, especially as well because the 11th house deals with career gains and Uranus is ruling that second house. So there's a very big implication that this full moon will have a financial slant to it in some regard. And what's interesting even more so as well is it's in Scorpio, which is a financial sign. So it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up for you guys. Now, on the 28th of May, we have a full moon that is absolutely brilliant, especially for you beginning new habits, launching new work projects, resetting your daily rhythm, dedicating yourself to your physical health and vitality. Mercury is strong in Gemini. The moon itself, this new moon, is ruled by Gemini, where Mercury is strong. It's trine to Pluto, sextile to Saturn and Neptune, newly in Aries. Pluto, obviously, in the fellow air sign of Aquarius. This isn't just about doing more, it's about doing better. As long as you keep service at the heart of your mission and you devote yourself to something for the long game, which is what you're all about, this could be the start of something really wonderful and actually something really powerful. Plant the seeds, take your time to grow them, right? It's in the sixth house, so it's going to be about those small, incremental daily steps as opposed to the big, bold vision. That will come. But what you need to focus on in the immediate is the smaller steps. If you are not on my mailing list, you are not getting your weekly emails. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I send out an email. You're going to get laughter, you're going to get tears, you're going to get astrology insights that I don't post anywhere else. You're also going to get special offers that I do not post anywhere else in this in all of my spaces. So if you want to get any and all of that, you can get those on the link in the description box below. I am currently running the last ever live round of Tarot Level 1, the 12-week Tarot Mentorship. After that, it will move to a recorded version of the course because I've got a whole bunch of other goodies that I'm bringing you this year and beyond. So if you want to get any of that, check out the links in the description box below. It's my absolute pleasure. Stay tuned while we get into your tarot. Hi Capricorn, let's get into your May 2025 tarot breakdown. So these are the decks of cards that I'll be using for you today. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So remember, if you are not on my mailing list, you are not getting your weekly emails. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they go out. You will be getting special discounts there that are nowhere else on my socials. There's a whole bunch of goodies in there, and obviously you'll be hearing from little old me to help you through your week. Also, my masterclass is up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. And I do have to let you know that the price will double. So it's currently £50, but it will be going up very shortly. So if you want to get that at the discount rate and also be able to apply that discount to the Tarot 1 12-week mentorship, now is the time, right? There are links in the description box below, so jump in. So your key to the month this month is the Wheel of Fortune, right? What a card to come back with. So May is a month of change. May is a month of movement. There is adaptation coming in. What I love about this card as well, sometimes it will show up as the results to the things that you've set into motion. And usually whenever this card shows up, it's like the luck of the universe, the luck of fate, the luck of God, whatever you want to call it, is with you, because the Wheel of Fortune is luck, success. It can represent abundance. It usually needs specific cards with it to represent that. If you want to find out what they are, sign up to my course. All right, so for your actions and options, you've got the Seven of Wands. So wherever it is that you've had a dispute or a back and forth going on, some kind of recurring issue, argument or challenge, it now comes to its close or its completion. And because you've got the Seven of Wands, it's like you're determined to see something come to a conclusion that you're happy with, whatever the results are. It's kind of almost like that energy of like, you know what, I want this done no matter what it is, right? No matter what the result is. And very often, when we go in with that desire to see something come to a close, right? It's like whatever happens, I'm just going to let the chips fall where they may. When we take our expectation off of what is going to be and we allow it to unfold, things don't just get easier for us. They actually tend to go more sort of in our chosen direction in some way. So this is something to think about. Now, the other thing that I want to add here, when it comes to the Seven of Wands, it's really about standing your ground. Now, in terms of the options that are available to you, there is a chance this month for you to set the record straight on something, to really kind of clarify exactly what's what. It may also be that in doing so, you invite someone to tell you actually how something is. And I'm going to be really honest with you. The potential here is that it is going to be uncomfortable for both you and the other person, but it will absolutely clear the air. And I think that's what's really needed at the moment. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Eight of Cups. So this is a card of walking away, right? It's a card of actively choosing to walk away, to release, or to let go of something. And because you have this in the position of your communications and conversations, the message here in a lot of ways would be for you to, like, certainly in terms of the quality of conversation, it's really about expressing your, like, how you think and feel about something, but leaving it on the table. So anywhere that you've got like an offer or something along those lines, this is like an encouragement for you to say, okay, you know what, it's like kind of like, you know, when you're buying a house and you say, right, you know what, this is how much I'm willing to pay, I'm going to leave the offer on the table. And then you kind of, you have to step back from it. For a lot of you, this month is probably going to be about that. Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, the the Eight of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune, this, it's not you leaving the studies behind, but it is you really thinking about what your exit strategy looks like. Like, where do I actually go from here? Am I going to try to get a job in my chosen field? Am I, you know, going to go in a completely different direction? This is one of the reasons I think that students who go into university and stuff later in life actually tend to get the jobs that they study for. It's because they choose something that they actually want to do as opposed to just following the crowd to university. Do you know what I mean? So there's an element here of like you're actually going to use whatever you're studying at this moment in time, and I think that's you trying to figure it out this month. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, you've got a lever here. So whether this is a boss, whether it's a superior, it could be, you know, somebody that is maybe a little bit of a nemesis to you. I wouldn't be surprised if someone declares that they're leaving. Maybe potentially as well somebody that you've had a bit of an antagonistic relationship with. And it's also possible that this person could leave, maybe not necessarily under the best circumstances, but it actually creates a much better environment for you. Now, when it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, you've got a, it's the Eight of Cups. Sorry, one second. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, I think that this is a client or a business contract or partnership that is coming to a natural close. And what I like most about this for you is it sets up a position where you kind of see something in its rightful place and you're able to step back from it and say, actually, this, you know, this person, this connection, whatever, this business, yes, while it was helpful or it was lucrative or whatever, it's no longer really me, or it was costing me too much in, you know, my standards, my morals, my having to bite my tongue, whatever the case might be. It's like there's a sense of freedom that comes from this, even though it's something that comes to a close. And then for those of you that are retired and no longer working, when it comes to your emotional outlook this month, you get a much clearer sense of what is actually really important to you, and you're able to kind of express that more on an emotional level, which, you know, is something that we don't really associate emotional stuff with Capricorn, right? But equally, you know, and I've said this before, like Capricorn people, they do not love instantly, right? They're very Saturnian beings. You have to earn that shit. But once you've earned it, you know, you have their love and their loyalty for life. That's how they are. So when I see this, I'm kind of like, okay, this is you, yeah, but definitely putting someone or something in its rightful place. For your love and relations, you've got the Hermit card. Now, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment, This will see you looking at the relationship through an abject sort of lens, and it's going to see you getting really, really candid about where you have felt alone, where you have felt like maybe you don't have the support or the connection that you would like with your partner. What I like most about this is, do you remember I said to you there's going to be some hard conversation this month, right? Potentially uncomfortable conversation, but it really clears the air. And you're able to say, this is where I feel alone, this is where I feel unsupported, you know, what do you think about this and what are you prepared to do about it? Again, it's going to breed conversation, which I think is really important. Now, for those of you that are single, it's very possible that you're connecting with somebody who is older and wiser, potentially someone that's got like a little bit of salt and pepper going on. You're Saturnian, so Saturnian people tend to like older people, or certainly people that are wise, mature, you know, people that got their shit together, basically. So, like, this could actually be very good for you. And I'm here for it, right? I'm totally here for it. Also, because it's the Wheel of Fortune, for those of you that are single that maybe have struggled with being single, I think this might be the first month, certainly of this year, that you're kind of like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like there comes that point, doesn't there? Like when you're single, you've been single for a while and you're like, oh my gosh, nobody wants me or whatever. And then you have that crossover point where you're like, actually, this is fucking amazing. I think you're coming into one of those periods. How long it lasts will, you know, obviously will be down to you. Finally, for your money and materials, you've got the King of Wands. Before we get into that, if you are not on my mailing list, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, make sure you get on that. You get a wonderful, colourful PDF on the elements in tarot that's going to show you how to look at that aspect of the deck and so much more. And for those of you that are wanting to study and learn tarot with me, this is your chance. It's the last ever live round of the Tarot 1 course. It's 12 weeks, so get in and enjoy, all right? Now, for your money and materials, you've got the King of Wands. This with the Wheel of Fortune, this is a chance for you to get visible. There's something that you do, some way that you show up or some way that you perform this month that really has the potential to see your earning potential skyrocket. It could also be that you start getting a lot more proactive about increasing your salary, your business revenue. You're getting a lot more recognition this month just by being who you are and showing up the way that you do. And I love this because it's like there's expansion here and there's growth, right? And it's the King of Wands, which is, you know, it's a very, you notice wherever this card shows up in your life. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the one thing that I will say, your mind is likely to be quite busy this month, and I think it's because even though there's a lot of measured change, it is still change nonetheless. So it'll be interesting to see sort of how that shows up for you. And then for your home and environment, the King of Wands is really about becoming the king or the queen of your castle. So if you've been trying to buy a home, sell a home, you know, get the home sorted in some way, shape or form, for those of you that have been doing DIY, getting things set up and all of that kind of stuff, this could also be helping you in some way. I mean, with the King of Wands, because he's kind of what I call like a mini emperor. So it could be as well that a lot of you are dealing with legal matters, paperwork, documents, affairs, you know, etc. Maybe even some of you dealing with things like inheritances. This month could see you working on something like that. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic May. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.